So CBS is going the way of Fox, if you haven't seen our. And Kathy Young from the Bulwark did an article on this, which I thought was really interesting. And if you've been following what's been going on at CBS, you should be concerned about using them as a news source. David Ellison, the son of that guy, Larry Ellison, is the CEO of Paramount and so runs CBS News under that. And much like Larry Ellison of Oracle buying TikTok and shifting that to the right, David is doing the same thing with Paramount. He installed an ombudsman at CBS for fair and balanced news at CBS. One of the goals was to remove Trump bias. And this came as a shock to a lot of the staffers at CBS who were promised that this was not going to be the case and they were not going to politicize the news division. And obviously that's happening because not only did they put in the bias monitor, but then they also just brought in the editor of the Free Press, Barry Weiss, to run CBS News. And if you don't know the Free Press, it has gotten sketchy background checks for fact-based reporting and definitely leans right. And one of her mentions is that she just wants to make sure that both political parties get equal scrutiny, which is code for Trump doesn't like what CBS has been saying, and we're not going to say as much about him. So it's not too difficult to read the tea leaves on what you're going to be getting from CBS. They're going to ignore some things that they shouldn't, such as the dementia that is happening with Trump and a lot of the corruption that's going on inside of the GOP. And they'll highlight anything of any opponent of his. And, just like they did in 2024 when they started, talking about Kamala's laugh and Joe stuttering and just, beat those things to death, right? While not mentioning sharks and electric motors and Hannibal Lecter that Trump was talking about. And that will probably only increase as we get into the midterms. You're going to see some really sketchy shit, I think, from them, probably from ABC as well. But some of the major networks, the legacy media folks who have basically bent the knee, and paying off these lawsuits that they would have won so that they get these mergers done in their entertainment portfolio. If you are trying to go the Disney route, which I'm going to try to do, you can get rid of Paramount Plus. You can not watch movies made from Paramount Studio or Skydance. And I know there's some stuff out there that you want, but none of those movies, none of those shows, none of those streaming apps are as important as you having the ability of free speech and maybe getting a decent wage one day and your kids not growing up under a dictatorship. So as always, please look into that on your own a little bit if you want. But the Ellison, father and son duo are definitely going down the Fox route, like the Murdochs, with the acquisition of TikTok, the acquisition of CBS News. So those are sources that you really have to look out for. And they'll be a little bit slower about how they slant those things towards the GOP and conservative things and what they choose to cover and what they don't. They'll be pretty sneaky about it, but be aware of that. There will be things that you will know are going on and that they will not cover on purpose. So again, my suggestion might be go the Disney route, hit them in the pockets, dump Paramount Plus. Don't be going to see, Paramount and Skydance movies. And it's easy to find out which ones are which. I believe there's a couple other companies that Paramount owns, like Nickelodeon and things like that. So yeah, it's from an entertainment standpoint, it might suck a little bit, but again, totally worth it when you look at it the big picture. Like hit them in the pockets, and pull them back to the right side of history, or just drive them into the ground. So, all right.